completing the work package 4, sorry, which is about fair data. And I work at the NOFOSC and the NAIC e-infrastructure collaboration. So the objective that Sarah mentioned earlier, the 5 objectives of the EOSC-Nordic project, one is relevant for the or one pertains to the issue of FAIR, and that is to promote and support the uptake of FAIR data practices and assist the implementation of data standards and certification schemas across the Nordics. So this objective is basically more or less quite a specific answer to the call of the EOSC, the Infra EOSC 5B call, where several of these topics were mentioned as expected themes in proposals. So we saw the map earlier, and for work package 4, we are a fairly large group scattered across the Nordic and Baltic countries. So we are 21, 22 people all together. And this is the group basically from various institutions. I don't have a number at the moment how many organizations are represented, but you can see from this that it's quite covering quite well the landscape in the Nordic region. So work package 4 is has 3 main tasks. The first one, the left column here, is about fair uptake. So the fair uptake has the ambition to survey or to provide to perform some form of a landscaping exercise to collect repositories, data repositories in the region, and then to measure or to estimate how fair these repositories are, and then remeasure that towards the end of the project, in order to provide a and in the middle provide some assistance and some guidance to repositories to become fairer. So this task is largely about performing this maturity evaluation, fair maturity evaluation, and also about engaging with communities and getting them on board to sort of take part in this in improving their respective repositories towards becoming fairer repositories. So this task is under my leadership, and so is the next one, the implementation task. And this is a lot of our limited amount of PMs are concentrated in this second task, which is about assisting a select group of repositories that are willing to implement fair data standards or to go through a certification schema of their repositories. So we have in our group several organizations and people who have a lot of experience specifically with this certification of data repositories and specifically relating to Core Trust Seal. Now these two, the fair data standards and the certification schemas are something that we expect that we will reuse from other projects. So the certification schema we are expecting to get from the Fair Sphere project and from the working groups and the expert group we will look at metadata standards and recommendations for that. And this should add that this activity is something which will primarily occur in year 2 and 3. And finally, the task which is here called policies, but is really about incentives for fair incentives, is led by Monica Lassi, and she will present this in more detail after me. But briefly, it's about mapping so it's obviously a collaboration with the work package 2, because it relates to policies and mapping of policies, and specifically incentives that are relevant for FAIR, and also to possibly come up with new incentives that may be deemed useful. And it also involves a engagement with the stakeholders, such as policymakers in the region. So coming back to the implementation issue, so why data standards and certification? These are two aspects of FAIR, which are, or let's say, two attributes which benefit a repository's fairness. And it was, as I mentioned initially, it was part of the call of the Infra-EOSC 5B call. But if we look at the re3 data registry, which contains more than 2,000 data repositories worldwide, we see that metadata standards are not very frequently implemented by the majority of these repositories. And the most common one, being Dublin, is only implemented by 270-80 repositories. So there's definitely room for improvement there. And likewise, with the certifications of repositories, it's an even rarer case that repositories are certified. But if they are, it's most likely that they are certified according to Core Trust Seal. So again, we are expecting to have input on our recommendations regarding this certification schema from FAIR's FAIR, and that we expect to have next year, and then begin selecting and implementing or assisting some repositories in deploying these or performing these certification schemas. So this is a timeline of the three major tasks. So the T41 here is the FAIR uptake one. We have put our milestones and deliverables at around the first year or the end of the first year, and we are now working on mapping out these repositories. We have extracted repositories from Nordic repositories from the re3 data registry that I just mentioned. We are performing an internal survey, so to speak, among our work package team organizations. And we are developing, or rather putting together existing tools that will assist us in performing an automated FAIR maturity evaluation, which we then can present to communities and with a recommendation of how they can proceed to make, with relatively small efforts, hopefully improve their fairness. And so so we will also have a workshop in the first half of next year, where we will meet with these communities and hopefully gain their involvement in this project, in the sense that they are willing to implement some of these recommendations. And then we hope to remeasure. Then we will remeasure the maturity of fairness towards the end of the project, and hopefully be able to document some effects of these activities. And one of the activities we are planning to use are hackathons in assistance with GoFair to sort of in very concentrated efforts make improvements regarding FAIR. Yes, the second one is task is about the implementation of data standards and certification, as I mentioned, and this will primarily happen in year 2 and 3, as I said. So that is a bit into the future at the moment, and so is the impact, the incentives and policies work, which is only starts up in year. Yes.